Hello from Joshua Tree. This place is magic. So I have just arrived to Joshua Tree, California. I had a couple days off and needed to get out of town, just relax, take some time for myself. So I made the drive. It was about 3 hours to get here. This is the Airbnb that I am staying in. It's a super cute, tiny little studio, but I'm really excited to be here to just kind of rest up and enjoy this solo trip. So I'm driving through Joshua Tree National Park at sunset. This place is insane. These Joshua trees, what? Just how? Also, I kind of want to hug one. They look friendly. Pulled over just to take some pictures of the sunset and these beautiful trees. Are you kidding me? Morning. I'm gonna come outside to the little porch because I have to show you these Joshua trees. They're everywhere. Can you see them all? Like, I feel like the camera doesn't even do it justice how many there are. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am coming to you guys on location from Joshua Tree National Park. I'm in my Airbnb. Yeah, I brought my scrubs. Yeah, I've been filming TikToks all day and planning a content calendar and doing stuff like that. But yes, I'm on vacation. Yes, I'm relaxing, but I also find doing stuff like this very relaxing as well. Obviously, I have a full-time job as an OBGYN, which I absolutely love, but I also equally love making content for you guys. But sometimes the two of them get very overwhelming and I don't get much done. So I had a couple days off. Joshua Tree is like a 3-hour drive from my place in Arizona. I got in my car, I made this Airbnb reservation within like 24 hours and I'm here. The park is amazing. Airbnb has these open windows and I'm just staring at a bunch of Joshua trees around me and it is beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this cute little Airbnb. It has a nice little kitchenette here. Little living room area, I guess. Bed with TV, the AC is going, and all of this natural light is amazing. The bathroom, I'm excited about this tub, but it also has a shower head here, and then yeah, just standard cute little sink. Once I'm done filming this video, I'm actually going to head into the park to do some hiking and exploring. This video might be all over the place, but I hope you guys are in for the ride. We're gonna try something different. We're gonna combine a vlog type setting in Joshua Tree, but also do a little sprinkle of information on women's health. All right, that was probably the longest introduction I have ever done, but in case you don't know me, I am Dr. Allie. I am an OBGYN. Here on YouTube, I talk about all things women's health, periods, my life as a doctor, all the stuff, honestly, all the things. I answer your questions. I genuinely love answering your questions. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and become part of this family. Your support means so much to me. I love you guys so much. You all are, honestly, you're like my friends. Now, I filmed a TikTok on this months ago. I want to say maybe in like January or February, and didn't expect it to get very many likes, but it blew up. Within 24 hours of posting the video, I had about 4 million views, tons of comments asking for further explanation. Today we're going to talk about 7 reasons that a woman might bleed after sex. Now I'm going to show you guys the TikTok here. I'm going to take off the music because last time I showed a TikTok on here and it had music, it got flagged, so I don't want that to happen again. So here's just the TikTok without music. So watch me awkwardly dance in silence. So as you can see in this video, I list off 7 reasons why a woman might bleed after intercourse, and so I'm going to explain those in a little bit more detail today. All right, you guys know what time it is. Let's get to it. Reason number 1. STIs, a sexually transmitted infection, also commonly known as STDs or sexually transmitted diseases. So this is probably one of the most common reasons that you can have bleeding after intercourse. We get an STI like chlamydia or gonorrhea. Those infections, and I make a hand like this because that's essentially what the cervix looks like. Just a perfect little circle with a dimple in the middle. When we get these infections, they can actually live inside of the cervix. Chlamydia, one easy way to remember chlamydia, if you're a medical student and need to remember it, I think chlamydia clam, it likes to be kept inside of a moist, like closed off environment like the cervix. These infections get into the cervix and cause them to be friable. Friable means that they just get irritated, swollen. If you were to kind of poke at the cervix, it would start to bleed, it's angry, and that's because of an infection. So when you think about it, when you have sex, you have a penis that's going to be bumping that cervix, and when it's friable and there's an infection, it's going to cause bleeding. Now, it may not be a lot of bleeding after intercourse. It could just be some spotting or maybe some like pinkish reddish discharge after intercourse, but that would still count as bleeding. Keep in mind that not everyone that has an STD or an STI has bleeding after intercourse. I'm simply saying that this can be a reason to have bleeding after intercourse. Reason number 2, PID or pelvic inflammatory disease. This one kind of goes hand in hand with STIs. So pelvic inflammatory disease is caused by STDs. It is an ascending infection into the female reproductive organs. And what I mean by that is, again, you have your cervix and that chlamydia that likes to sit in there. That infection can actually start to grow and get inside of the uterus and inside of your fallopian tubes. When it actually reaches the level of your fallopian tubes, it can cause them to scar down and it can lead to infertility. This is why it's so important to get checked regularly for STI. Some women just don't have symptoms from these infections, but it can lead to severe things like infertility. These are treatable conditions, so get tested regularly, especially if you have any doubt in your mind. Then we can give you antibiotics, so then we can hopefully prevent you from getting any other complication. When a person has PID, it can, again, essentially the same way that an STI can cause bleeding after intercourse, PID can also cause bleeding after intercourse. PID can also cause painful sex, or what we call dyspareunia. So if you're experiencing any of these things, go see your doctor. You may just need to be tested. Number 3, vaginal dryness. Vaginal dryness can also lead to bleeding after intercourse. So one of the main reasons the vagina is just naturally lubricated is due to estrogen. There are a ton of estrogen receptors inside of the vagina, and that helps keep that vaginal tissue nice and plump and a little bit moist. Yes, I've already said the word moist twice in this video. I apologize. Now for women who are in perimenopause, postmenopausal, going through early menopause, or any condition where your estrogen can severely drop, that's going to have an effect on the vaginal tissue. The less estrogen there is, the more dry the vagina is going to be. Now again, as you can imagine, when we have intercourse, there's friction due to the penetration. If that tissue is not well lubricated, it can lead to 1, discomfort, but 2, also bleeding. Which leads me to point number 4, and that's vaginal tears. So again, we have intercourse, there's friction, penetration. If that environment is dry, it's going to cause rubbing, sensations of feeling almost raw and dry, and that is due to lack of lubrication. I kind of cover all of this and things we can do to prevent that vaginal dryness in 2 of my videos. 1 on the female sex drive, and 2, the one about menopause and perimenopause. Definitely check out those videos for more information. I just want to take a minute to talk a little bit more about vaginal tearing. You hear a lot about, oh, your cherry popped because you bled after you had sex, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure where this started or where this whole term cherry popping thing started. started. It's ridiculous. I filmed multiple TikToks about this. So essentially what this slang term means is that when you have sex, your introitus or the vaginal opening tears. This does not happen to everyone. It may happen to some women, but it doesn't mean anything. Also, just so you guys know, as an OBGYN, there is absolutely no way that I'll ever be able to know if you had intercourse just by doing a pelvic exam. If someone has told you this in your life, they are lying to you. There's absolutely no doctor that can prove or tell if you've been sexually active. Well, yes, some women can tear, not everyone does, and it may not happen to you. Let's just keep moving on. Number 5, cervical polyp. A cervical polyp is a benign growth from the cervical canal. They can start to grow and kind of come out so that when we do a pelvic exam, we can see these polyps. So here's a picture of what one typically looks like. Like I said, they're usually benign and it's something that we can actually remove in the office. As you can see from the picture, this is coming from the cervix. So anytime you have intercourse, it gets bumped, it gets irritated, and it'll bleed. Reason number 6 is going to be a cervical ectropion. This is just honestly a very scary sounding medical word. And I've actually told patients while I'm doing their pelvic exam, I'm like, oh, you have a cervical ectropion. And then I realize that they start panicking and they don't know what that means. So yes, then I need to calm them down. I need to be better and explain things early on and let them know that this is a normal finding. A cervical ectropion, what does that mean? So essentially, there's 2 types of cells that we're dealing with here. The cervix on the outside, the cells that we see on the outside are going to be epithelial cells. Now the cells inside of the cervix, inside of the cervical canal, are glandular cells. Cervical ectropion is when these glandular cells that are inside of the cervix actually come out and you can see them on the surface of the cervix. It doesn't mean anything bad, and a couple different things can cause this. Things like pregnancy or hormone changes, sometimes even being on birth control pills, can cause a cervical ectropion. But because those glandular cells are on the outside surface of the cervix, whenever we have intercourse and those cells are bumped, it may cause some bleeding. And the last reason that we can see bleeding after sex, the scariest one of all, cervical cancer or vaginal cancer. So during medical school, we're actually taught a couple different things that are considered knee-jerk reflexes. What this means is you have a patient come in and complain about something, you should knee-jerk reflex to a diagnosis until proven otherwise. Things like painless bleeding from the urethra or, painless bleeding when you're peeing, you should knee-jerk reflex to bladder cancer or renal cell carcinoma until proven otherwise. Another example, postmenopausal bleeding, knee-jerk reflex to endometrial cancer. Another example of a knee-jerk reflex, a woman comes in to the ER complaining of lower pelvic pain and has vaginal bleeding, knee-jerk reflex to ectopic pregnancy until proven otherwise. Similarly, post-coital bleeding or bleeding after intercourse, knee-jerk reflex to cervical cancer. Now, this does not mean those symptoms 100% diagnoses you with cancer, but you need to be thinking that as top of the line, because obviously you want to exclude the diagnosis of cancer from your differential. So when I have a patient come in and complaining of post-coital bleeding or bleeding after sex, I have to make sure this is not cervical cancer. I get it, that can sound very scary, but trust me, cervical cancer is much, much worse. So if you are experiencing bleeding after intercourse, it is always best to go see your gynecologist just to make sure. All right, so that concludes today's video. And now I am off to eat lunch and then go hike around Joshua Tree National Park. Just finished hiking Barker Dam. It was like 1.4 mile loop. It took me like 40 minutes. This park is huge. Have some water and a snack, and I am reapplying sunscreen because it is very, very hot here. All right, sunscreen reapplied. That goes back on. We'll just drive. This is the snack I'm going to have. I picked these up last night. I've tried the green bag of this and it's so good. This one is maple pecans with cherries, apples, and walnuts. I am so excited about this snack. So don't think I'm absolutely crazy, but I am at Cat Rock in Joshua Tree, and I'm not sure that I understand the whole calf thing, but I see a dog wearing a tiny beret. I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, so this is what they've called Calf Rock, and all I see is a dog like Snoopy. So like eye, nose. This is the ear that's kind of dangling this way, and then a tiny little hat like a beret. Hikes today. I'm pretty tired. I parked right now outside of Skull Rock, which I'm gonna go do, but I needed time just to chill out. I'm reading, finishing, look, I have very little left of the X-Talk. I'm gonna do this hike, and then I'm gonna finish up with the arches, or the arch trail for sunset, because they say it's really pretty at sunset. I'm just gonna sit here and snack and read a little bit. So I just got done hiking Skull Rock. It's a pretty short trail, not even a trail, it's like really just climbing on these boulders. Skull Rock you can actually see like from the side of the road, but definitely if you come here you need to explore the boulders behind. It is unbelievable. You know that like TikTok song that's like, and nothing hurts anymore, I feel kind of free, like that. That's exactly how I felt on top of one of these boulders. And I just kind of stretched my arms out, and the wind was blowing, and it almost made me get emotional because that song, that freaking song, every time I see a TikTok on it, it's always like really heartfelt or like emotional or a dog. But this place is amazing. Now I'm going to drive to Arches, and that's going to be my sunset hike. hike I was going to do today. The sun is setting, the colors are beautiful. Oh, I'm tired, I'm hungry. I sweat so much, but it like, I'm so dirty, but it feels so good just to like work your body, you know? Drive back to the Airbnb and then just kind of have a chilled out night. I'm gonna try and do a sunrise hike, so I need to be in bed early because the sun rises at like 5:59. Good morning. I woke up like 30 minutes ago and I've been packing up all of my stuff here at this Airbnb. I want to do a little sunrise hike, so I'm about to head into Joshua Tree National Park. I made it to the Cholla Gardens. I'm about to start walking. I got to watch the sunrise as I was driving through Joshua Tree, and I was the only car on the road. It was so beautiful. This trip is literally everything I needed to just feel recharged, to think about how amazing like the world is. Like, Earth is amazing. Things can get really hard sometimes, but remember that the sun rises every single day. It sets and it rises, sets and it rises. And it's just like, I just keep telling myself, I'm like, the sun is always going to rise. Like, that's just, it's gonna be another day. Even if you've had like a really crappy day, rough patch, the sun's gonna rise. I'm gonna go explore these little cholla trees and hopefully none jump out at me. Like, they go forever and they're like all the way around you. I didn't realize chollas could get this tall. Like, look at that. I just don't think the camera's doing this justice. It is so cool. The bark, is it still called a tree bark? I don't know. Here's a little baby one. The one thing so far that I've learned about this park is that none of the hikes seem to be super strenuous, or at least not on like a super steep incline like they would be at like Zion or the Grand Canyon. They're more kind of chill out hikes. So if you're not super big into like doing really steep hikes, this is probably a really good national park to come visit. Okay, so enough rambling from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you liked this format of including some Joshua Tree stuff, but also some educational stuff, because that's how I am in real life. I am very passionate about my job, about educating others, but I also love to travel, and I'm so glad that I was able just to get away for a couple days, do what I love, like being outside and in nature, and also still doing things that I love, making content for you guys. That may sound crazy to you guys, but I genuinely love this. I love this platform. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all of your continued support. You guys honestly mean the world to me. I love connecting with you guys, especially on Instagram in my DMs. You guys are hilarious, and I feel like honestly in real life, we would all be really good friends. All right guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, become part of this family. Do the little notification bell so you know whenever I post a new video. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and I will keep posting. Link down below, I will leave all of my social media, Instagram, TikTok, and my blog that I currently am writing in both Spanish and English. I hope you guys love those blog posts because I love putting them together for you. All right, you guys, don't forget to be kind and show love to everyone around you. I love you. I will see you in my next video. Bye. Bye.